It is pointless to resist.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Starlight Digest, a podcast bringing you line talk and digesting Star Wars topics over 1,000 years. This is episode 267, being recorded on July 10th. July 10th, right? Yeah. 2024. I'm your host, Darth Moocher. Grand Alma Franz doesn't know, but he's here.
Yo, what's happening? And I don't have a clue what day it is.
Yeah, exactly. We got Scott Solo here.
What's up, nerds?
And we will patiently wait for Ernie to finish over where he's doing and hop over here to talk Star Wars, of course.
Yeah, the pit is popping today. I've seen so many names in there. Like,
yeah, it's great. I don't know if it's good or bad, but we shall soon find out, right? So, but before we get into all that good stuff that we've got going on, we have our Shadow Council to shout out, and all these guys and people and women and all these beautiful minds being digested in the pit. Scott, take it away.
You got it, man. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode. I can't do that voice. I'm going to end up throwing my voice off.
Don't do it.
Like last week, I'm not. Yeah. So just, hey, a quick special shout out to our Shadow Council. That's right. AJ from the Forbidden Panel, Brandon and Anya Epler, Brian C., Cliff, Commander Cook, Crystal E., Dennis McGrath, Don the Dad Dorn, Eric Grubb, Flavy Davy, formerly of the Nerds with Attitude podcast, Gavin Connor from the Holy Hour All Cure podcast, Justin the Vanilla Thunder, Luke, a.k.a. LOB Collects, Mervine Balanos, Matt Logic, Mufftack is back. My God, this list just keeps growing. I love it. Nicholas Schaefer, Obi-Sean Kenobi, Papa Schmitty, Ryan, and the Star Joes podcast. So, if you want to join up with the Shadow Council, our Patreon crew, patreon.com/Sarlacc Digest Podcast, or scan that QR code. We are going to start getting back into some Shadow Council topics once the Acolyte is dead and buried or gone or done or whatever we're going to say here. We'll get back into some Shadow Council topics and all that. Should be some fun times coming up. So
Yes, sir.
And then the pit is currently digesting. Oh, hey, look, it's Ernie. He's here early. What's up?
He was having trouble getting Twin Flame to play on his phone.
Yeah.
All right, we've got Hellrunner Base in there. What's up, Hellrunner Base? No one watches Artie. He is safe and sound from that awful hurricane that was coming at him this week. We've got Rhino Hobbies. We have got Mando Mike is in there. Okay. Yes. Who else have we got? The Dad Dorn.
Not the Don. That was the Mike. Sorry, Don.
Hey, Mando.
Late reaction.
I'll be right back.
All right, man.
We've also got Douglas Tupper, Gavin Connor, the cult leaders here, the other half of the Holy Hour Cure podcast. Let's see. Who else have we got? Oh, my God. There's so many people there.
Obi-Wan Chingones.
Obi-Wan Chingones. We've got Basil G in there also. My God. Rad Chris is in there. What's up, Rad Chris? How's it going, man? Long time no see.
Yes.
Julie Junobi right there. Julianne Fernie. She's here. All right. Holy crap.
Yeah, there's
Douglas Tupper's in there too. All right.
Yes. Oh, I'm sure that if we've missed you, we'll get to you because I see your comments. I hear you. We see you.
Hey, Dr. Brantley's in here too. What's up, Dr. Brantley?
Awesome. Yeah. I got to put my Acolyte cap on because we got episode 7. We got one more episode before we wrap up the Acolyte, the era of that, and we're probably going to the overall state of what this series did, to the lore, to the fandom, to all of us, all that stuff. But I think Scott said it last week. Of course, we were getting this episode today because we had 2 more. We needed that flashback episode. I wasn't really expecting the entire episode to be the flashback. I thought we were just going to go back and forth. There's the present storyline, there's the past storyline. And
I like this. That was a Boba Fett style going back and forth. Yeah, I dug this.
Yeah, I actually I thought they were going to, because again, we only have that one episode. And the first thing I did, I don't know if you guys did, I paused it and looked at the time. It's like, all right, 38-minute episode, so 30 minutes.
Roughly,
yeah. So I was like, okay, a little bit longer than we had. So cool. So I was definitely in tune with it. I was like watching this from the point of like what happened, right? But the last week we left off of Soul explaining to May, you're going to sit here and listen to what I have to say. So my first question is this that direct response? Are we seeing what Soul is explaining to May, this version, or are we seeing this is exactly what happened?
I think that's it. I think we're just seeing exactly what happened. It's catching us up on the
catching
true
us
story.
up, right?
What he has to say to Osha doesn't matter. Osha knows what happened.
No, May.
Right?
May knows what happened.
I'm sorry, May knows what happened. May was there the whole time, right? So it's not. You don't have to explain anything to her.
It was framed. It was framed weird though, right? Because in the last episode, the final scene of last episode, he's like, "Now that I have you captive, I'm going to tell you exactly what you already know."
Yeah,
then we hop into this episode.
I think what he said was, I've been thinking of what I would say to you for 16 years.
Yeah,
not recapping the the story isn't what he was going to say to her. He's going to say something what the choice he made, which was one of the coolest things that's happened. And like or hate the show, that's hardcore.
That is hardcore.
that's
no, I really. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's
yeah.
That's why it's just catching us up. It's catching us up.
There was a couple pivotal moments in this thing, and again, the Soul story. And as I was rewatching it again, I see what the show did, and I see his point of view on like what his response was. I've got to save these kids, because the only thing that he saw was threats. He saw those kids as being abused and threatened and pushed around. So he took it upon himself. Again, a very Qui-Gon Jinn kind of character, and people might get mad at me for saying that, but Soul saw his own purpose and went on it, disobeying the rule of the Jedi and what their mission was supposed to be and what the council wanted and what Indara wanted, right? He was like, I feel this, therefore I'm going to go do this. This is what I feel. And it's Qui-Gon did that exact same thing. So
he even said, I insist.
I insist.
Come with me and check this out. Like, oh,
right. And so I'm seeing that parallel a little bit. Like Jedi kind of have free will. I don't know. Or they do it, and then whatever the council doesn't know, it won't hurt. Like, is that a thing too? I mean, is that the sentiment that we're kind of getting? Like we got thousands of Jedis out there doing their thing, and whatever is being fed to the council to appease them, what they don't know won't hurt them.
It certainly seems like it in this episode.
Because we did get the hint of like your overreach basically is going to be your downfall. And obviously that's true, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing those kind of parallels a little bit.
This is the first episode that really didn't resonate with me very well. This one, and I think it's because we had I think Mando Mike even said it here. He said 15 minutes of what we've already seen. It was a lot of, instead of a different perspective of stuff, we had a lot of similar shots. We had the same shot done over again or just repeated. And I think whenever you've got a show that's only 8 episodes long, and you've only got one episode left, you've got a lot of ground to cover in that one episode if you're gonna make an impactful story, right?
That's the key, right?
Let's rethink using those same shots, maybe from a different perspective. Be unique about it. Show it from a different angle, or just cut some of that stuff out. We don't need to see it again necessarily. That's my own personal feelings on it. This episode just, I've watched it 3 times and it just hasn't hit me like the last few have. So
I'll say this. Shockingly, I was good with it. I liked the episode like a lot. I liked the whole episode, and then I sat there and turned my head for a minute about to text you guys about the episode, and then all of a sudden I realized what was playing in my effing ears.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's.
And you know what that did to the whole episode? It shat on it like completely, and it's dumb to say because it's the credits.
No,
right? But what did I talk about with Coyote Monday? It's not the fact that they did it; it's the fact that they can do it.
Yeah.
Right. And that just opens up the door for doing other stupid shit.
Well,
so now I get over here to the credits, which shouldn't matter. Right. But they do in Star Wars. They do because we're not on Earth. Right. So then that hits and I'm like, oh, look at this. It's not okay that they did it because now they're doing something else again they shouldn't be doing. Yeah. Coyote Monday's age change. You're just open the door and let it all just change willy-nilly and let this chick just do whatever she wants. I'm okay with the story. I like the episode. I like the last 3.5 episodes very, very much.
Yeah.
This one, I saw it the same scene, the way you're saying it, the same scene, but I saw it from the Jedi side, the other side of you. You know what I mean? Like I saw it from their perspective, more maybe not the camera angle, maybe not the camera angle, but it was his perspective. Well, it just had me in there, and that worked. That worked a lot. And I was in this episode, and I was.
It had to work because we have to agree as an audience what Soul went through and why his decisions were doing. So we kind of had to go on.
I think some of the directing in it and some of the acting again was a little off. Soul to me as an older guy is perfect. Yeah. Right. As a young guy, trying to play the younger guy, he doesn't work as well. He does the slouching thing. He's got the thing off. He doesn't look the part. His voice.
He's not as wizened.
Yeah, and I get he's not supposed to be either. Right. But there's just a way about him that I can't tell what emotion he's trying to portray sometimes. And while he's
too stubborn.
That's not even his fault because I know he didn't speak English before this role. So there's some direction in there that needed to happen. And then I want to just blast this part right now because it took me out of the whole damn show for a minute. When they did the test with OSHA, and she said it's a planet. How long do you have to keep the camera on Soul just staring at her?
Yeah.
With Indara looking. It's like in regular speed. And I'm talking like an 8 count.
Yeah.
Like
it was weird. It was
at
awkward.
least 5 Mississippis. I mean,
like nobody.
But that's just nitpicking again, right? Nice. I mean,
one Mississippi.
What's hard though is there's a lot to nitpick though. And that's the worst part. We don't try to do that.
Right.
I do that. I do Boba Squadron immediately following the episode, and sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's hard because that chat was turning it into a negative. To where then I was even approached. Yoko was like, "Why don't you like it?" And I was like, "Wait, I liked it for the lure,
Right.
But these points are here being made is like, like and it's true. I'm still there at the same point. Yeah. I liked what it showed us and the answers, but there's still a lot that didn't get answered or happen that you're like, what? The song was one of them. The song was really very, everybody had said that's more of what's the new Star Trek called? You know, he played Beastie Boys and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Abrams,
and I get that. It's true because it's there, right? If somebody made the point of they should have played it in Huttese or something. I totally agree with
that. Would have been good. Yeah.
Look,
correct.
In Ahsoka episode 1, we had a punk rock song playing and it was in a different language. It just worked. Yeah. I was watching it today. It was awesome.
Just give it a sound alien. We're not on Earth.
Correct.
Even if it was the song, as much as we hate and I do not care for the we are one, we are many, whatever that was in episode 3. Even if they were to play that at the end, at least it would make sense to the story, right? It would make sense with the show. This generic pop song just didn't fit.
Not even a good one.
When stuff like that happens and it takes us out of our Star Wars because of the earthiness, as we always say, it really does. It's a cool song, okay, like that, but it should have been in a different language. Would have worked way better. Put the subtitles up there. There you go. And then the second part was Teen Wolf walking around with a metal detector.
The metal detector,
looking for a virgin.
That was really because it was a real metal detector. And in our Star Wars, our real stuff is turned into other stuff. Ice cream maker. A saber is from an old photo tube for the Flash.
Yeah.
Like, the comm is a razor. There's different things. This was a metal detector. And then Kanaka in the yellow looks like Teen Wolf. He really does. I kept hearing the song play. Remember when they do the montage? I gotta say, I was waiting for him to just.
You are right, Ernie. I didn't put that connection right now until you're saying it.
It's the yellow, so that's hard when we're such fans of other things that you think of that, right?
Yeah.
But the lore in this one and what was happening was cool, but then we still had lots of questions. I came back and you guys were saying about, well, Soul told her this. That was a big question that I brought up at the end when I was like, wait, hold on a minute. Who was telling this story? Because if May knows everything,
just
then where did we leave?
I think
was it Stranger telling Osha? Yeah, and we don't know that. That's going to be our opening.
That'd be interesting.
But that would be cool. That's a good call. I would like that.
How does Stranger know everything? We didn't get that answer.
Yes. And he's divergence.
All right.
I was expecting to see him pull Osha or May up from whatever pit she fell into, right?
This is the problem.
That has to be it, because we don't know what happened to her. There's still where'd the fires come from still? Don't tell me that her lighting that thing lit up a mining factory. A mining factory, guys. Mining factory is not flammable.
I said the same thing, and they said, "Didn't you see the liquid on the floor?" And I was like, "That was the liquid inside that candle thing."
It was the kerosene.
It was an oil lamp. It was an oil
lamp. We had 4 feet of a circle. And all of a sudden, the fortress blew up.
It ended up being an electrical fire because it got into electrical.
The mining facility.
Yeah, but it went into electrical.
Don't. So here's what I'm saying. There's something else causing the fire. We haven't got the answer yet, and somebody saved May.
There was a big explosion too on top. There was an explosion.
How?
Exactly. This is okay. I'm gonna lay this out for you guys, and this is where I was trying to put my pulse on this. Like Scott said, I went back and go, okay, I understand what it did. I was actually happy about the Virgins because it actually sets up a lot of things, and we'll get into that too.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah, but the fear is that the questions that we're asking is all the stuff that I know we're basing it off of stuff that we've already gotten in the past 7 episodes stuff, but all these questions, especially the present timeline, the Stranger, all that stuff, I don't know anymore, unless we're going to do this on one episode, that the show is even going to give us that. We might be putting two separate lines, stories that are going off that at the end of the day, they don't match. They don't who cares about the flashbacks? Because we're all about the Stranger in the present, right? So, but why are we so concentrated on the flashbacks? It might mean nothing. And that's my fear, really, because I really think that the present timeline and Brendock really should add up. And again, the presence of, and again, they did show that masked figure or that cloaked figure in the background. Again,
I looked for it this time. They did.
It wasn't a zoom in, but it was there, and it was just steel. It was like there was no face. All the other
right
people
side
are
of the
looking
screen,
this way.
right?
Yeah, they were all looking this way again. And so I'm with you, Chris. I want there to be this huge thing as like we're going off next week, and it's going like, you know, Soul's realizing this, and the stranger's saying this, and we're flashing back to like he was there the whole time in plain sight. What's really bugging me is the other mother, not Anastasia, the other one.
Yeah.
Where did she go? She's not dead. She just disappeared.
No, she disappeared.
All right.
When she did, I thought she was going to morph into the stranger.
You know,
I was waiting for that to happen. I thought that was going to be the connection.
Yeah, me too. And because what did she say?
He isn't to use your anger.
Yeah,
he's into pulling from the dark side, right? Get mad.
Yeah. I mean, there were some similarities on her and Sith training. Fight me. What did what did May say to Indara the very first time they met? Fight me. You know, like attack me. And she said it to Soul. She said it to Soul. And I was sitting there going like, oh, please don't have her be like the stranger's apprentice this whole time or whatever.
Yeah.
Again, and if it is, honestly, then this story does have its nicely packaged up story for what it is. But what we're trying to look at is this, and then why have a show with this kind of potential just to have it sitting by itself in the grand scheme of the Star Wars lore we're getting. I was starting to, and again, I'm waiting for next week, but I also going like, you know what? If this show doesn't have that connection to everything else, then the team doesn't have the balls to do anything, because just come out and do it. Come out and give us Plagueis and Tenebris and do this stuff and do it this way. I don't care, you know, but really come out and expose it for us to get excited for it and have the next 5 years of this whole buildup of other, you know, series and moving on to other episodes. But for them to, like I said, my fear is that they're not doing it, and there's going to have this little nicely packaged storyline by itself. And this is probably why Filoni was like, yeah, everything's cool you're doing, just do whatever. It's not going to matter anything that we're doing anyway. And so that's my concern as far as that. But also at the same time, is it going to destroy me? No, because if it doesn't have any impact and it's this nice little thing, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, we're building up because again, we're seeing things that we're trying to make that connection where as Acolyte is a chapter in Star Wars lore, you know. There's my 2 cents. That's my soapbox on that. And again, one more episode to see how it wrap up. They very well could wrap it all up as far as giving us those things that we want. The stranger could be there the whole time on Brendok. We might not see the last of it. You know, there's potential on that too. So I don't think that's dead.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah. It's just a lot to wrap up in another 35 minutes.
Right?
That's what's hard. That's what we always say.
I want to know what caused the actual explosion. Where is the stranger? What happens to Osha and the stranger now? Because now they're together, right? What's she pulling? And she better not just be the new stranger. And what are they going to do with May? I mean, that's a lot to. That's major.
That's a lot.
It's major things. You know, again, it's major things because we're seeing what's there on screen and we're pulling it and we're talking about it. It's not we're not just making this up. But at the same time, for example, if the explosion. And if they just say, hey, on paper, it's an electrical or just say a fire, this, and it just ruined the whole thing and they moved on and never did it again. That's what they're presenting to us. And that's,
I just have to take it. But
exactly.
Yeah, that's no problem. It just doesn't make any sense.
Cult leader, real quick. Cult leader says it's a mining facility. And whenever you mine, there's usually explosives.
And we can headcanon it because.
But they wouldn't go off at different places at different times.
Well, it kind of was. I mean, the sake of speed and the sake of
I get it.
Timing, I guess it doesn't. You would think the whole thing would go up, right?
Yeah.
But they made it
the
a
place
point
to be on fire.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, they made it a point because everything was a perspective of somebody: Kalnaka, Indara, Soul, Torben, the witches. Everybody had this different perspective, and nothing was jiving with each other. This is why the conflict happened. You know what I mean? So the Jedi were there for a purpose. Soul found a different purpose when he found that there was life. The witches were doing their thing, and everybody saw themselves as enemies. And Torben wanted to go home and cause this whole thing, really. Yeah. So go sit on a rock and pray for absolution. So
and kill yourself the first chance you get. Apparently.
Yeah. So
yikes.
Yeah.
Right?
Just real fast. I know I see everybody's comments at Pit. We'll try to get, I'm hoping that talking through it, that we answer some of these things. So if I don't get to you, just keep on going. And Scott, thank you for highlighting that, because I'll just go.
Yourselves.
Yeah. Don't mind us. No. I really want to respect it. Yeah.
A question. So I'm trying to work through this whole Vergence in the Force.
Okay,
right?
Vergence.
How to utilize that, because now we're not Anakining this, right? We're not manipulating midichlorians to create life. The Great Disaster happened 200 years before, or the Great Hyperspace Disaster happened in the first High Republic book 200 years before this. And what happened is a spaceship was in hyperspace, it exploded and went just scattered throughout the galaxy and destroyed planets, right? And this just happens to be one of those planets that was just devoid of all life after that, right? I take it there was no vegetation, there was no trees, there was no life at all.
The planet was dead.
The planet was dead. So the Vergence, and I know a lot of people are pissed off coming up here saying that, they're turning this into an Anakin. They're making Anakin not special, right? Because Anakin was made from midichlorians and that manipulation. That is not this thing.
Right.
This Vergence in the Force, whatever the hell it is, created all this life within 100 years. And, these are towering trees and lush soil and just a forested planet.
The planet came back to life because the Force was so concentrated on this.
Correct.
It reminds me of Dagobah a little bit. Like the Force was concentrated on this planet, and it's growing from there.
Right. So is it this Vergence is it the witches showing up here, and then the Vergence creates the children? And then that, Torben had his thing where it's like it's one consciousness split into two different people. And what the hell is happening? So I gotta really work this out.
I do have a theory on this Vergence thing and why the witches were there in the first place. And
cool.
The purpose of the Jedi were there because they were they were like, okay, this great disaster happened, and all of a sudden this planet came back to life. Signs of a Vergence, and they kind of explained, this is concentrated Force points where that the Force is doing its will through these things. I don't think the witches were native to there. I think they knew that same kind of concept and went there and populated that mining facility to do for that purpose, to create life. They knew it's just like the Jedi, even Soul said it, that you can actually create life through a Vergence. Well, they did it knowing this. How it ties into Plagueis and Sith, it's so simple. It's like, that's learning that ability to create life through a Vergence, through a Force, is probably how. We might say it might be different, but it's the same. It's probably the same scientific or Force using ability. They just don't know that they're doing it. It's like two different things. And so when Plagueis learned how to do it and created, and Sheev or Palpatine created Anakin, it was the same thing. But if you didn't know how to do it or know it can work in the first place, this is showing it can work. So therefore, the Sith would have use it and exploit it. And then create Anakin, and Anakin had his whole trajectory going forward. So you could still say it doesn't ruin Anakin's story at all. It's the power that was observed and maybe observed for the first time by the Sith and the Jedi at this point that propelled the Skywalker.
Well, the Jedi don't know what happened. Well, go ahead, Ernie. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know everybody's stuff is long-winded. Mine is going to be too, and I apologize to begin with. But it's because we have to get into this stuff.
Yeah, sure.
So the problem is there's the hate against it, and then we try and put it in lore, and there's so many questions. When we're down to one more episode, this 50-50 stuff is going to happen. But this also brings out so much good, because I felt that she had a right to, this is only my theory, which kind of got answered today, and I was like, yeah. So I kind of feel that we keep saying, wait till it's all done as a whole. It's very hard to say that, but we try and say, wait till the whole story, then we'll take it, put it in its place, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, of course.
As soon as they said this Vergence, I was like, okay, that's how the twins were created. There's your answer. Plain and simple. It's a Force thing. They use that. That's what we're going to go with. And then, yes, it went into one person. We've never seen that before, and we split into two. Okay, this feels very Sithy. I can use that as well, too. And then we know that there was talk on Twitter of them saying that the comic book of Palpatine creating Anakin wasn't going to be anymore. But this is still an answer is to say that's how he created Anakin was his virgins. And somebody posted today and I saw it and it was gone because I wanted it to forward to you guys was that somebody said, I'm shaking my head and crying over you Star Wars fans because how is nobody else posting this? And it was Qui-Gon walking into the council and immediately saying, I've discovered a virgins in the Force. Right. It's this boy Anakin. And I was like, it's all right there.
That's what I'm saying.
Why is everybody so fighting against it? Or God, what happened?
The only time I ever hear the word virgins is about this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Creating something in the Force.
So yeah, that was like to me, I was like, okay, there we go. Like we're getting some type of answers and a story to it. So to me, seeing that Qui-Gon tie-in and everything like that, I'm like, I'm good with it. Like, I feel like we can X that off the board of, okay, we're going to go from here.
Yeah, cool. Because they went further in that quote to say centered around a person, and you think it's this boy, right?
Right.
And this is different because it's not centered around a person; it's centered around a
planet,
which is pretty neat, right?
Yeah.
So it's different. It's all different.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And I feel that, and I've been saying this from the beginning, I do think that the witch's title is going to come out and it means something. Because we got it again as far as we don't know who they are.
Oh, right.
Yeah, she specifically said in this one, they're not Night Sisters.
Right.
We keep getting that tease. I'm going to feel really let down if we don't get that.
Oh, bro. I just think they're letting us, they just call them witches and they just tell us that.
They just like,
they're just making sure that we know they're not Night Sisters.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
But you're right.
I feel like it's important, you know?
I feel a lot of people, Sith, the witches, Jedi, all converged on this planet, the virgins. And again, the Jedi are too late as far as like whatever, because what did Soul even say when they were at that camp? And he's like, a virgin, he's explaining the virgin. It's like, it's something that's beneficial to the Jedi. I mean, you know, we have to protect it because other people can abuse it, but also it could be beneficial for us too. And he didn't elaborate on it, but he did say something about virgins being beneficial to create life or life and all that stuff. And maybe he was thinking just the planet emerging as a populated planet. But the fact that what I absolutely loved is the fact that the witches were not native to that planet. And so for that whole thing in episode 3, when we got I put the twins in you and you gave birth, now it makes sense how they could have done that. This wasn't
correct. That's what I feel.
Again, it wasn't taking from something that we thought it was special. We knew that power is going to exist. And now I think I'm hoping that the Sith are there the whole time, exploiting it, allowing it to happen, and then taking May. Because
I kind of
May
feel
was
that
presumed dead because Osha went to the Jedi.
I kind of feel that it was because they said they were there for 7 weeks already, picking weeds and doing metal detecting, and then he ran over.
That pissed me off too.
It does, but then he ran over and said, "We're not alone." So there's nobody else on that planet but the witches. The
witches knew they were there.
But by the way, when he saw them, he found them by that C-shaped piece of concrete or metal, right? But it's by their camp too. It's right next to their camp.
It was.
It's like,
there's parts of it,
Well,
it was the same exact angle. Everything was the same.
Yeah, but they took speeders to the mining facility. It was Star Wars timing and distance is very weird
stuff.
There's also, it did look like concrete because my initial thought was, okay, we talked about the Great Disaster. Is this possibly some of the wreckage from that ship that would have caused the decimation of the? And that's what we're seeing. But then it did look like concrete. So, I mean, it's possible that, growth over the 100 years or 200 years would have caused some kind of degradation of the metal. But that's in my head canon. I'm saying that's wreckage from a.
And in mine, I immediately went to Stargate.
But I did have a problem. I did have a problem with that they were there 7 weeks. That they just found these people and nobody got up in the ship that they have. Right. And just scope it out for, I don't know, a building, some kind of facility, something with possibly electricity or people.
Yeah.
Scanners aren't picking that shit up.
It was supposed to be a completely devoid of life. All of a sudden, life is there.
So was Decibel. Oh, look at all the life on this planet. Massive life readings, though. You'd be able to tell from your ship.
Yeah.
There's some talk in the chat about healing.
See, now I'm mad. Oh, I did see that. Let's bring that up.
Yeah,
let's
see.
I wanted to tackle that.
So
actually.
yeah, I don't think. First off, I don't think Soul has or the Jedi have the power to heal. It was not mentioned.
All of them. That's what I'm saying. Not everybody has the same powers all the time.
It's right.
And it's
like Mace Windu with the shatter point. And
I feel that Trinity was
telemetry.
I feel like Trinity was the mom with the bad kids.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, can you take these group to?
She was
to go look for a virgin.
I feel bad for her, man. He's like, God, everyone's listening to me.
Right.
This whiny ass, this kid that wants a friend, and then the one who can't talk to nobody.
And then you think you're gonna take Soul to go? Could you go get him? And Soul gets there and says, "We gotta climb this mountain."
Yeah, let's go.
Climb this mountain again.
Yeah. So like Soul stabbing Mother Anastasia, which was awesome because again that little showdown first off was very tense and very cool.
What the hell, man? Look at that.
Come on. Like
okay, that's pretty good.
So they're asking
what do you guys think this is?
The chat's asking like why wouldn't he heal her? I'm like, well, why would he?
Well, he doesn't know how to
exactly, and I don't think that was
so either.
Yeah.
He's still pretty young anyway. If he learns it, it'll be later in life. I mean, all we've really seen heal is Rey, Grogu. And that's probably just Grogu's natural bit, right? Rey's too.
Grogu and Rey is the only.
And then
Kylo,
the stranger.
Right? No, the Kylo.
I did think that the stranger healed her. I don't know what she got hurt, but I thought he healed her too.
And
he did.
Flipped her over, but that's
right.
Yeah.
So when you guys saw this, I was super excited because I don't know how you interpreted it, and I kept saying it last night, and nobody was with me on it. Was this not like a shot of her?
Us, man.
Was she not turning into the essence that we've always talked about, like Palpatine did at the end of Jedi?
Oh, no, I think
that's
she's just
what
a
I
witch
felt.
And can evaporate. What do they? Is that what they call it? You know,
so that is a Night Sister trait, and we've seen it in the Clone
Wars. But they're
Wars.
not Night Sisters.
I know,
but
that is a dark side trait. Right, so it could be like just a dark side power. Because remember,
call it dark side. They just see it as the thread, but whatever.
Right.
I mean,
so again, remember,
little prejudice there against people.
Yeah, all the magic in Star Wars is the Force.
Thank you.
Dark side and light side. The way they used it, if I pulled it out of the air and I created this green mist, and you created it and created the black mist, it's probably the same kind of thing. They just don't know what they're like. This guy doesn't know what he's doing, but they're doing the same thing. You know
Somebody
what I mean?
said that they show it in the game, and the Night Sister
teleports. Survivor.
But they said that when you rewatch it together, it's not the same type of teleportation.
I got it. The other mother is Merrick because he faded off into a black mist, and so,
you know what's pissing me off right now? I'm sorry. Hold on. When I watched the first time, I was pretty happy with this episode. Mm-hmm. The more I watch it, I was a little like, okay, I see some problems. In this discussion today, I hate this fucking episode.
No, dude, no.
It's so bad.
See, and that's what keeps happening because, So I'm thinking it was like an essence that she turned into, and she was trying to take May, but then he stabbed her.
I thought he was going to get her. Because I thought he was going to get her. She was going to get her.
That's what she said, yeah.
Here's the thing, too, right? You've got May, who's starting to disapparate as well, right? She's starting to fade off. And that's what I was... Sure.
Her eyes, I'm telling you.
So, all right, she's disapparating like the mother did right there, and the Zabrak mother as well, right? So, what is this? They're talking about the consciousness is split into two, right? Is that the mother? Did the mother take a part of her consciousness? I don't know what's happening here. That's the thing, right? Because the kid is not evaporating, or I'm starting to break up, aren't I?
Yeah,
it's
fine.
You were for a second. It's all right.
Honestly, Scott, it really could be chalked up to that's just an ability
for
teleportation. I mean, it's a simple answer.
Why is May doing it though? Because
right there, May
wasn't doing it. The mother was
it being done to her?
Yeah, I think so. I read it as that when she was going to take the kid away, like where they were trying to escape. Or because she came down the stairs like, look, there's a fire, right? Something's going on. So I think she was ready to take May and then go to Osha, but then Soul stabbed her. I
love the fact that Soul cannot tell the difference between Osha and May.
No, he didn't.
Every time he sees a little girl run up, he's like, Osha. It's like, kid,
well,
dude.
You know what? I think that was thrown in our face as well too, Scott, because it's kind of like so then you don't, because he was trying to say, I feel this strong connection with her. I want to be with her, but then
No,
but you messed up though. You messed up and you called her
one
wrong.
consciousness split in two.
There was a big thing about
he
that.
Senses he has a connection with them.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
I mean, that's headcanon, right? You have to just do that. That's the only way that makes sense.
I kept saying that too with no one watches RD is station. Like,
was it
what it is?
One consciousness, two bodies, or two bodies, or one
body
consciousness split between two bodies.
Yeah.
So it's still one
consciousness.
Then.
Yeah. So he's just
yes, that's what
one's
he said.
the light side, one's the dark
he keeps
side.
thinking it's OSHA. He doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Even the
one's a light,
tell
one's
different.
a dark.
He doesn't know who Jay-Z and Will Smith are. So
it's just the Miss thing has me because I'm with Scott of why was she doing it, May, and then that shot you got it great because I saw that during the thing of where she transformed. Like look at her teeth and
the teeth. I know
her
the
face
teeth
and
like
everything.
wicked.
And then that's why I thought Coral.
Like come on,
I thought Coral was going to turn into the stranger, and that was going to be
me too, man.
Connection.
Like I said, dude, like it could be where we really want in some of the stuff, and it could be where they're giving us all of this stuff, and it is what it is right on the surface, just like it's a teleportation thing. It means nothing else, you know.
It made it hard to tell about Anastasia because the way she imagine they breaking and entered, right? They just barged in, but they caught them aggressively. Right. They stopped them aggressively. Like you want to take them to an institution instead of with their family. And
because of what Soul.
But then once you get stabbed, I was going to give her to you.
Yeah.
I know. There's a lot of mixed messages.
Yeah.
You know what? I also got a mixed message of, that's a great way to say it, Scott. And to Chris's thing of, we talk about it more and it's like, we're not trying to be we just want questions answered. But I was also to the point of all this time in Star Wars history is, let's go back to Rebels. The Inquisitors are taking these young babies. Oh my God, how dare them? But then we constantly hear from the Jedi, they're too old. You can't train them. Everybody. Yeah, and then my question was, so how old do the Jedis take? And everybody's answer was, well, when they're babies.
But however, they even said, I'm listening, I'm still listening to that High Republic book that just keeps fucking going on and on and on and on forever.
Okay.
But it's between that and Tales of the Jedi. Whenever we see Ahsoka as a baby, they're freely given to the Jedi from the families.
So they're not taken.
The Jedi will come and tell them your child is special. It has the ability, and then they can give their child to the Jedi if they want. The Jedi just don't walk in and take.
Yeah,
from the ones we've seen, from the maybe 3 we've seen, right? But there are thousands of Jedi,
right? But I mean. The conflict here was on the again, they asked OSHA, but kind of like what Andara even said, look, you are manipulating OSHA to come be a Jedi. Like you're doing everything, and this is why probably why the council said hell no.
Hellrunner says it right here. Andara is the only level-headed person in the episode.
That's right.
Absolutely.
She's stuck. She's got.
I was gonna let her go with you.
Yeah, she has a I think and it could be the planet too, messing with Soul. It could be I say Night Sisters, but like what this whole thing about Torben and Mother Asaya was in his head, manipulating actually what he wants to get out of being existing. He doesn't want to be there. I don't even know if he really wants to be a Jedi. I think
Torben was that kid in the grocery store that you want to slap.
Yeah,
because they're crying for their candy.
But she exposed that in him, right?
I just want to go home.
That was his weakness, and I think Soul's weakness was exposed here too. Because Indara even said your attachment to her is not normal based. And he's like, that's not what this is. I think it was. I think something in him was like he had different motives, but maybe it's because the planet, maybe the witches. I don't know. But Soul's weakness was exposed in this whole thing.
Hey, can you hit Mando Mike's comment right there real fast? The last one. It's time to attack Mike.
Yeah,
before we can't let him just go on.
So he's saying they destroyed Soul's character with.
They were leading up to this since the first episode. We knew these 4 people had done something dastardly.
Yeah,
they've been putting us there. They've been breadcrumbs the whole time. They set up his character.
Yeah.
His character was set early on. We knew this was happening.
Yeah, and I know why Mando is saying that because if you see it from the Switch's point of view, yeah, Soul did all these bad things. But if you watch this episode and you watch it from Soul's point of view, he felt these kids were in harm's way. All he saw them was blocking the force and being thrown on the floor, arguing and pulling over here. He's like, we have to intervene. I fear they're in trouble. He said it in this whole thing. Everything that he didn't take the time to really study and go on and do these things. So in his haste, he saw this as a threat and he intervened, which he was told not to. But he felt, again, the kids were in threat. And everything in this episode was his point of view of the kids being in a threat. I mean, it was so in his mind, he's not bad. I mean,
and there's also this weird FOMO with him. Like, you've got a Padawan. I want a Padawan too.
He did. You're right.
There's
Trinity threw it in his face. Yeah.
Between that with him and Torben just wanting to go home and, sit in the temple. It was like,
I think it's the two moms had the most level head, Trinity and the head mother. They really did. Both of them did.
If she'd have come off better in the beginning or get a little communication, we'd have been a lot better. But again, the Jedi broke in.
Trinity went in though, but she said that. I'm so sorry. We don't mean to barge, like this and everything. It's like, oh, okay. She told them all, don't do it. Don't do this and that. So it was really upsetting at the end when she's like, okay, we're going to Coruscant, and May started the fire. And everybody rolls with that. It's like, oh, come on. You just gave the bratty kid his wish.
Oh, sorry.
No one watches Artie right here. This, and it kind of reminds me of Anakin too, right? Anakin was trying to fight to save Padme's life, but in the end, it ended up being him that caused the problem in the first place, right? Same thing. From Soul's point of view, the kids are in danger, but they were in danger was mostly his manipulation of the situation. Because
was he making it up? Is kind of what making the situation worse than it was.
I think he was rushing into
it. What danger are they really in?
He was rushing into
mark that Osha's in danger.
Yeah, he knows nothing of these people. It's the first time he's ever seen this. He didn't even know that they were not witches.
But now
and he felt this ascension thing was troubling, and so he
just imagine parents of kids today, like brand new parents, looking at the way our parents raised us as Generation X and thinking, oh my God, these kids are in danger. They're drinking from water hoses.
We were in danger.
We're out after dark. We're riding our bikes in the streets.
Our parents didn't know where we rode our bikes to. You were told to come in when the lights came on.
Yeah.
We were at Thrifty.
I had to listen for a whistle.
Straw Hat. Yes. Yeah. I mean, they did not know where we were. And it was, as long as you were home by that time, you're good.
I think it was just honestly, this was built as a perfect storm for all ends. Again, that the witches didn't make the situation any better because they conflicted with when the Jedi showed up. Get out of here, do this, whatever. And then Soul saw it all. He didn't take the time to actually study what was actually going on and get to know these people. And he did manipulate Osha's passing the test, and he coached her and stuff like that. There was a lot of perfect storms going on here. And I think there was a lot, again, why arguments in general start in the first place between two people. It's because they don't understand where each other's coming from, and they make up their own stuff in their head. And I think that's the flaw in this. And that's the story on the level, Soul, Torben, they all saw it differently, and they all had a hand in this. The witches didn't help, because they were overly, they knew that the Jedi were there. They studied them.
So you're talking about Kanaka felt weak because he got manipulated and almost killed somebody.
And something because he kept. Yeah,
it's in his head. It's stuck, and he put himself away because something with the Wookiees. With the claws. They're not supposed to use their claws for fighting, and he hurt Jedi with them. Right. Yeah. So, he's a mess. Torben's obviously a mess because he knows he caused the whole thing. Saul's a mess because he's lying, and Dara's off on her own, probably drinking their life away too.
But they all have ghosts, and the fact that they didn't go to the council to do, and they hid it and they swept it under the rug. Like, this incident was an isolated incident on these four very flawed, I'm not going to say that they were always flawed. It's just that this moment really destroyed them as Jedis. And
except for Soul, who I was about to say, Soul's the one who after that got a Padawan, and then another Padawan, and he's training in the temple where the others all went off on their own to try and make amends. There he is trying to play the good old Jedi boy.
Yeah, but she did tell him, "What's the reason you did this? It was for her."
So right.
Stick around there, but then she failed, and he's still around 8 years. You're right. I don't know. You're right. This is bullshit.
Well, that's why I'm like, that's why I go. We need okay. So again, we can honestly really analyze all these points on what this was, but this is what like I said, what really bothered me after this. I enjoyed. I think was needed. We knew this was coming, but we have the present storyline that is more important than this. And I understand that we needed roots and we needed to find out why these sisters are here and why Soul's after them and whatever.
We had to have this read bitch about it.
We had to have, we had to have it. But also, I'm really crossing my fingers that it does come full circle. Like the reason why the stranger chose Osha in the first, or May in the first place. And then
because he found her right there, because he saved her from dying. It's got
exactly. And I want that has to happen, right? For it to all
that fire wouldn't have taken down that generator.
Yeah,
there's no way.
So next week, are we getting another okay? Here's what really happened.
Yeah,
and that's crazy that we had one.
You just get the rest of it that you didn't see happen, that you saw happen but don't know why. You get to see that bit.
Yeah,
but like we said at the beginning, there's still so much other answered. What's going on with the stranger? What's going on with Osha? Like,
that's why this entire episode being a flashback, I felt was just unnecessary.
Yeah, I felt like they could.
At the same time, still good because of what we're learning and what happened.
And if I had just watched it once, I'd have come in here and probably gave it a B+.
But this is the caveat of, again, it all. We're saying we need all these things, but maybe the show doesn't do that, and so that's where I'm kind of like,
how are they going to land the plane?
Well, that, and again, and they could be like, look, everything that you got is what you're getting, and there's nothing else. There's no other thing. It's just chalk it up to this and chalk it up to that. And that, again, and that's when you see it as a package, that's when you make this decision as a consumer and stuff like that, to be like,
well, we've always said that. It turns into being hard when we do a podcast show about it and try and break it down and talk about it. And we have so many questions, but then it brings up more questions.
Yeah,
that's the hardest part.
I'm telling you.
So are we getting a 3-hour episode 8?
I mean, even a 40 minutes work at this point. But like, no one watches. Again, there's these things, and I just this cloaked figure in the background. It's just there. It's just there, dude. It's not moving. It's not reacting. It's not doing anything. It's there. And so.
With the big head again.
So I got something here. So there's a couple of things going on here. So they say things that I hope are hints. She foreshadows all the Jedi dying, right? Maybe again she's part of the Sith plan. Maybe she's in on the know. Maybe Darth Plagueis or whoever is kind of letting her in on the long game, and I don't know, right? But she's talking like a Sith. They talk like that. And everyone must be sacrificed to meet their destiny. To meet the destiny. Did you catch that when she was saying?
I did.
That's pretty hardcore, right? So they mean all the witches have to be sacrificed right here. Everybody on the planet, including these 4 Jedi, which is why they still have Osha hunting these 4. Everybody there had to be sacrificed.
Gotcha.
Maybe for the 2 just to be the only ones left. Something like that. I'm just saying they're giving us hints that I don't know will ever close up. But
I also feel like you're giving it a lot of credit. I think you're giving a lot more credit than what we're going to end up getting.
That's what.
But here's the thing. But we do catch, because last week I catch myself because I was praising last week, right? Mm-hmm. And the week and a half before that, because I thought, okay, she's getting canon, she's making her point across and all this, so I have to give it a little bit of faith because I can't just keep going back and forth every week, right? So I'm like, okay, she's leading me down a path where if I just wrote this down, this story, I'm in. Right, I'm cool with these witches creating force, the Jedi coming in, wanting to take them fighting, but I'm in with all this. Just the execution might be shit sometimes.
Okay.
I don't know where I'm going with that.
Well,
I'm good. The thing is, I'm going to stay with it till the end. I don't want to shit on this one too much. I think there's more they're going to give us. Is where I was getting.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I just don't know how in 30 minutes.
You know what, Chris? That was a perfect description of the episode.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that.
And then you stopped and said, I don't know where I'm going with that.
But then I found it, but she never finds it.
But then the flashback, and then there it is. There's more of maybe we're just, like Marco says. Moocher says that, this is all we're going to get. We have to play it off of, this is your answer you have, and that's it.
It could be.
But as you think further, we always want so much more because we played it out in our head. And as we know Star Wars as a background, we need these answers. Because then my other thing is, if this is all we get, and he was so connected to Osha, and that was your Padawan then, now I need to know also, then why did she leave? Because all we know is that she left. She didn't want to be a Jedi.
She failed.
But if you were so connected and all this happened, what happened then?
Yeah. Well,
She didn't just leave; she failed. It was a big deal when Kamir had the blade. When she had the blade to Kamir.
When she had the blade to his neck, she said, "I failed."
She was pissed about it. I failed.
Well, like I said, I can't. I'm not. Like I said, what I brought up the Distant Land is, not obviously not a fan of the show and stuff, but he says awful writing. I can't say that until the end because again, you can't base it off of
because things are catching up.
Yeah, all these things happening, and again, there's two ways this could go. Okay, I only see it as two ways. As what we get it might wrap up what we got on the surface up, and we look at it and go, look, there was no impact to Star Wars whatsoever, and it was just a sideshow kind of deal. That is a possibility. The stuff that we're kind of like going on this stuff, it could be just is, did that way, or and what I said, the gutsier, the more ballsier move for Disney would have been like, go into it, bring in Plagueis, make him the big connection, bring these bad guys up to a speed, use this. I don't care if people disagree on the Virgins or stuff like that, or if it is toying with Anakin's creativity, but it'll never be. Anakin has its own path. See, Anakin was only created to bring balance to the Force. That's it. He wasn't there to be a warrior that brings the galaxy into, like a great warrior. He was there for one purpose, as far as the prophecy goes.
Balance to the Force, and I feel the twins are to show that you can make life.
That's what it is, so and that's where I'm going with it, right? So there is.
You said that weeks ago,
So there you go, because in canon. Okay, I'm gonna bring it back here. What I think they changed Plagueis. I think Kamir is Plagueis.
Okay, all right.
Because in canon, in the Darth Plagueis story, Darth Plagueis the Wise story, there's only been one that's learned how to preserve life, right? And Kamir has made it very clear that it was a law.
He's very old,
right? He's old, and there was a point in here. I think we mentioned that last week about that pool he was in, perhaps being some kind of fountain to keep him alive, or he learns ways, whatever. But
it was green. Yeah, I thought that from the beginning.
Well, at least healing, if not preserving life.
They heal,
not his scars because those were already there, but everything else, right? But I think that's where we're at now. I think he's not a Moon anymore. I
think 30 minutes, like we were saying earlier, and like Distant Land said here, 30 minutes is not enough to explain.
No, I agree, man. I agree.
There's no way.
And
I really do.
I'm worried about a cliffhanger because I don't know if the Star Wars fan base, such as it is right now, with all the backbiting and fighting and ridiculousness, I don't think they could handle another season of the show.
Well, that's what Gavin Conner says, right? Saving it for season 2. Again, we're hoping it wraps it all up.
And they have it in their heads that they're going to get one because, well, I don't know, because Kamir was not supposed to be exposed until season 2, they said, but he was so good in the roles and the scenes. They said, forget it. Let's show who it is now and show
it. Yeah. And now Rhino Hobby said it too. I hope they wrap it up and we don't get a cliffhanger.
Same.
Because if this happens, there is no season 2.
I agree.
And then it gets spread out in comic books and novels and stuff. And
just like
the rest of High Republic and Solo, it just gets lost and you never get a good, decent, answer.
Just want the story.
And now,
just finish it now.
Yeah. Now I think about this, right? If in a 30-minute time frame, because I started thinking about our remaining questions, and our remaining questions are honestly only to deal with the stranger if he's got a master and his role in these twins.
Yeah,
that's it. You can wrap that up in 30 minutes.
They could leave the flashback alone, not know about the fire, not know about anything. Although I do think they're going to have to. It should be a Kamir episode.
It should be a Kamir episode. Okay, the one thing that was said about Leslie is a very dark episode. Dark meaning,
and at least one more Sith will show up.
Yeah, and at least 2 Sith total, and a dark meaning like sad, not like dark and like Sydney. Episode 5.
Soul can't live. Soul cannot live. If we're gonna keep canon solid, Soul cannot live. He must die because Kamir said to him, "You might call me a Sith," right?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm still on the thing that it's going to be Osha. Osha's going to kill Soul.
Yeah.
I'm still putting that out.
If she puts the mask on, that's when I set the mind.
I think so too.
Factory on fire.
Yeah. The what?
If she puts the mask on again and takes the mantle,
I don't think she's going to take the mantle. There's a possibility of
riot.
She has a possibility of Osha does kill Soul, and then May. I don't know what May's role in any more of it because she really didn't have a role. But I think it's a possibility that she kills Soul, becomes the acolyte to the stranger, and then that's the setup for a season 2. Like it's the stranger and her, not necessarily her taking the stranger's role.
I
don't know if I like it, but again, I mean, it could be like, here's the acolyte and here's what it did, and if it's not lore breaking, then it is what it is, right?
The ultimate fall to the dark side would be killing not only Soul but her sister too. I mean, she could take out her sister, and then
unless one dies, the other has to die. Because there's one consciousness, right?
Hey. I also don't think, I think Soul is not Soul. I think Khmer is probably the acolyte of somebody else.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that is, that's where we might see Darth Plagueis, this other Sith Lord. I think the ultimate acolyte ends up being Khmer.
Hey,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So what if we see Soul kill? We see Osha kill Soul, takes over with the helmet. Sorry, Chris, but that's what my thought still is.
So dumb.
He gets the head. It, like we're saying, it's not stranger. He has a master, and the master can see that they're what is it? The triad in the Force, or the
dyad?
Two of them. The dyad. Sorry, the dyad in the Force, and says, "Oh, it is possible." And that's like our story. And what if then they station into one? Finally, there it is. He can make them come back together, not separate. And there's his new
right there. I was just about to hit that. The girls chant. They do. They never quite do it together, and they did it before the Ascension. Right. What if that chant they've been learning their whole lives is the chant to put them together?
Yeah.
Right. What other reason?
Because it was always broken up
about you. Right. Well, it's always broken up. One of them wasn't saying it because Osha wasn't always into saying it. All of a sudden, they say it together for some reason, holding hands, and boom, we
think about their role. Like
I'd rather devastate her and roll through the village, but whatever.
Osha was born light side. May was born dark side, and the mothers, one was kind of light side, one was dark side. As far as their power,
was crazy.
Their mentality.
Yeah, I locked the door.
yeah.
I saw it the other way too.
Yeah, I know, Chris. I know.
I was letting it go. Right.
Okay, but you know what I'm saying. So if that you're right about that chant thing, that they come together.
That's a good one.
As a balance of the Force, and then that's what the Force would create. The whole thing about the show being the Acolyte, that's what throws everything off about a lot of these talks, right? It's like it's called the Acolyte, and it's not just a tool to. Is it finalizing with the Acolyte, or was it like May was the Acolyte of the Stranger, so therefore that's the title? But in the overall, her main purpose and destiny was this, And I say yes to both. Like get it to both. You know what I mean? Like converging into two. Like they were almost like born broken. You know what I mean? And then the Stranger or whatever found a way to get them together. That's why.
But he spent a lot of time trying to kill May. So he was going to kill May, and they kept stopping him from killing May. And
the Stranger. I'm talking about the Stranger, not Soul. Yeah.
I was kind of feeling like he was toying with her. The Stranger whooped through 7 other Jedi.
Yeah.
Right. I think, and he's talking to her. And you were going to betray. He had a chance when he knocked off her cuffs. I think he was trying to put some fear into her.
Okay.
Or like, they don't just like, oh, I killed my acolyte because he wasn't listening. It could be like, hey, now I came in here, just killed everybody. Now let's regroup. By almost like a lesson,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The one thing I will say about this is, again, it is creating a huge talk, and I know it's a divisive talk, and I know it's people are, they're taking sides. Like, honestly, like Mando. I mean, I don't think there's any talking him into anything that we can make points and stuff. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad.
Come on, Mike. At least give it a C- D+.
Yeah, I mean, there's again. I'm not. That's him. If that's the way he does, that's cool.
Sure.
And I'm real honestly, if that's your takeaway, then that's great.
And the trick is, I can see it. I see the bad parts. I see where I want to trash it, but I get the story. I like the story, so I'm okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like it's got us talking, but it's got us talking in a way of like really working our way around how Force things work. Like I said, Divergence. We're talking in ways of making sense of Star Wars.
Yeah, because I would see that
like it or not,
oh my god, the Ark in Clone Wars. Help me. The planet, the mother, the
Mortis.
the Mortis, like a virgins in the Force, right? Like that is a virgins in space, just about.
Yeah.
So
and the virgins is all over. Like Dagobah could be a virgins. There was Octu can. Octu could be
the little tunnel she goes into when she has the dark side stuff is a virgins in the Force.
And there was a shot when Soul saw the sisters or the witches chanting over a hole in the ground in the mining facility.
Yes.
They were like had their so there's things going on there that I get, and I do agree with, like, is there enough time to make it all fit? And I think the short answer is no, but it's all there too. So when we kind of like do a rewatch, we can like it's there. So on one hand, I would love to explore it more if there was enough to where the story where it got me, you know what I mean? Especially like if they use like Tenebris and Plagueis and all these things. If it got me, I would be like, hell yeah, let's get a season 2. But I wish they would just do it. Like, just stop.
Commit.
Yeah.
I just have to ask them that this is what they need. They listened to us before. I know they listen to us, right? They have to. Because we said even stop doing 1 episode premieres because nobody gets it until your second episode.
Yeah, just binge it.
And they started doing 2 episode premieres just like we asked.
Right. Just like we asked. We asked them
that.
Yeah.
We asked. I think they need to experiment a couple times, maybe 2-3 times, and let us binge it.
Split it in half. Just split it in half. Dude,
no.
You could have easily. You could have easily have ended the first half of the season with the Massacre of the Jedi, and just been like, "Holy shit, what the hell was that?" And then you come back a couple months later for the second half, get all disappointed, and eventually maybe have something at the end, like that episode at the end of that arc would have been killer, right?
Yeah.
Or if you can, like you said, these shows, the fandom is not patient enough to sit through it and wait to see what happens. They want instant gratification. They want to yell about it immediately. It's calm down
or overlove it.
Watch the whole
thing. Let's not forget that happens too, right?
Yeah.
Right.
People love the song.
No, yeah, I don't get that.
No, nobody loves the song. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you're wrong.
No, people love the song. People love the people that praise it every week are without regard are the ones who love the song. Sorry, Scott.
No, I will.
They changed their ringtone.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Coyote Mundi is being brought up in the chat. I just want to address it real fast again. It's still preserved that he knows nothing.
Yeah.
So there's no.
But people do still complain about it. It's the age. Like I said, it's the age that bugged me. It wasn't the fact that he changed his age. It's the fact that they can. Yeah. Which again, to the point is, they did the credits tonight, showing again they can do whatever the hell they want, and that sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But
I know you guys say about Tenebris and like that. And see, I don't want that. I feel at this time it has to be Plagueis. Like I don't want.
Dude, I just want where we get in trouble, Ernie. Right? That's where it's like it has to be. And then again, I look and I watch and I go, you know what? For what the show did, I saw that. I saw that.
This fucking guy here.
You need to stop.
We love you, Hal Ronan.
We're giving you a hard
time again. Anymore.
That's the thing, Ernie. Like what they wrote and gave this Acolyte series, it could be exactly what they presented to us, and that's what they meant. They meant for it. This is a story of the sisters and Jedi, and this 4 Jedi. Okay, mind you, when they say, "Well, Jedi are all bad," no, it's the 4 Jedi with their story. This is their personal story. Not everything goes to plan. There's a lot of stories. There's a lot of stories that are doing it, and we're only following these 4. Okay,
God, we
and what they messed up on basically, or what happened. Now, when we sit there and we're trying to make those deep connect again, is this a lore breaking? And when I say breaking, it's always good. It's a good thing too, because meaning like a lore addition, adding
new information is cool.
That's what, it's something that we can look at lore and go, oh my god, look at this, and we
look
can
how it affected XYZ down.
How we can reference it. Right. And so that's the balance of this. And when Leslie Headland said, look, everybody's idea of the show is wrong, that's what she could be referring to. This is not a story. This is not a story that we put together for you guys to add in your talk. This is just a story of the Acolyte, whatever. Which is, to me, personally, it's wrong. I don't have time for that stuff. I don't have time for it. You know what I mean? Like I said, just give us a story of Plagueis. Let's do it. Because we can. Because you know what, Disney, you can build off that for 10 years. You can build off of it. You can make money with it. You can expand on it so much. You don't do these things if it goes this way.
Part of the problem. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just effing do it. Stop pussyfooting around, man. Like, honestly, just that's where I kind of go against the grain of love. All right.
Yeah.
Where I get kind of bored of sometimes the Mandalorian does it with side missions, with a lot of side missions. Like, just get to the, like, why don't you just add this character and do it? Like, he means this. Awesome. Star Wars has always been about progressive storytelling, you know what I mean? And not be like, we're going to take 20 years to get 5 feet forward,
Part of the problem on this too is, again, we said at the very beginning, they set the show too soon. I mean, it was brave, very brave of them to go outside of the Skywalker legacy, right? They needed to go farther back.
Yeah, this is still butting right against it.
It is. You still got Yoda. I mean, this is the time where Plagueis and Tenebrous should exist. So you're really starting to screw with people and what their idea of perceived canon is, right?
Yeah.
And I say perceived canon because the name Plagueis is canon. Coyote Mundi is canon, but their old backstories are legends, right? Which sucks because they had really cool backstories. But dudettes, those were legend stories. It sucks, but they were.
No, think about it like this. Okay, the majority of the people that know who Darth Plagueis is, it's a small portion.
Yeah.
Right, of the fandom. The people that know he's a Mun, a small portion of the fandom. Marketing wise and just execution wise, do you think you'd want to have a Mun as the main villain for any other series going forward in live action? Or do you think you'd like to have the nice Filipino gentleman who everybody adores right now in the show that can live?
If I never knew Plagueis wasn't a Mun, right?
Yeah. Wouldn't this be the way to do it?
Yeah.
If I didn't know before, remember, we don't.
If I never knew,
right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that would be amazing. Yeah.
I think that's where we're at. The Coyote Mundi was a taste. This credit is a taste. You're about to get hit with this cat.
And you can't. They shut down that hotel. So
So honestly, guys, we got one more episode again, and we're honestly we'll really let everybody know everything next week. Okay,
this comment. When this happened, when they did the Star Cruiser and they put it out, we saw we got a hold of that video, ripped the shit out of it too.
Oh yeah,
that was garbage too. We ripped the hell out of that whole damn hotel.
So
Star Trek looking son of a bitch. All right, sorry.
Well, yeah, he made a comment of like also don't you think that in the grand scheme of Star, I'm just kind of like paraphrasing Hellrunner here, like there would be a pop song like this out there. Oh, you know what? We got Jedi Rocks, but I know it wasn't Huttese, but we got Jedi Rocks. We got, there's
too
but again,
earthy.
Here's the thing.
It's so out of
pocket. Again, if you liked it, awesome. Honestly, I want people to be happy in Star Wars and stuff like that. But there are and
it was specific about these girls. Sorry, it was their soundtrack. It was their fucking theme. It
was
Flame, and I'm so ashamed when they call me. Shut up. That was horrible.
There's actually like a cult in the real world called the Twin Flame cult. So calling it Twin Flame doesn't really, and I know about this cult. So hearing that it's called the Twin Flame, that doesn't help. That doesn't help.
Actually, that makes it better. That makes it better.
Moochers how far away is it?
I'm all, whoa.
Google the Twin Flame. You won't like it, Moocher. I know you, and you won't like this cult. Yeah.
But so I want to say this, like, okay, anybody in the entertainment industry, anybody on earth, 8 billion people nowadays, anybody who is handed a Star Wars project, okay, as if you like the song, cool, that's great. It just
we can still be friends, but
in the history, in the history of Star Wars, there is a few things that preserve the title of Star Wars. Okay. Rian Johnson toyed with this and he got burned by not having the Wilhelm scream, by not saying, in a movie now, and not saying, I have a bad feeling about this, even though
by a human.
I don't care if BB-8 did, he never said it. But he did it, and he did it with a smile, like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go with the norms. but having, again, I understand this is a series and I understand it's Disney Plus and what have you, but this was like a deliberate choice made. And I know that it didn't end the series with it, but it ended a episode with it, but having a pop song. And this was a pop song. This wasn't a interpretation of what a Star Wars pop song could be. You know, like a modern
pop song, like a
this was
pop song.
I ended it like you guys did, kind of in my head going, okay, I have to kind of piece this together, and then the credits come, and I usually let the whole thing play, and then it took me like 30 seconds to be like, I'm listening to a pop song during a credit scene.
Mr. Death Metal listening to a pop song.
Well, I mean, it's just in the background, right? Like
realizing it's on that show still and not just some Disney Plus crap.
Yeah, like did I go to something else? And that completely really that upset me that offended me as a Star Wars fan. And look, guys, I'm not burning down the house over it, but at the same time, it offended me a little bit to be like, this was a deliberate choice now, and to consciously walk away from making a Star Wars project and doing something like this. Some people might think it's petty, but this is something that we grew up with for so many years, and we sat there and we listened and we watched the credits on every single movie we watched. You know, Book of Fett did it right at the very end by saying Boba Fett, right?
Boba Fett,
right?
But it was
was still kind of teetering the line, but at the same time, it was Star Wars. They did it in a Star Wars way, right?
And not only that, every episode added something. Added a new musical
instrument. Yeah, right.
Through all those episodes, it was the same production, but they kept adding to it, and then they, ended it with the Boba Fett. Like I can still even take that. Yeah. Like it was still Star Wars because of the way it was the one.
Yeah,
throwing this in there, yes, felt very Star Trek.
Yeah, if it Hal Runner, you got to
Victoria Monet, an actual singer-songwriter.
Yes,
put it in there. I mean, that was
yes.
I just had to look that up. Sorry, I was thinking it might be the actress.
Right. Got you. So. Yeah. Hal Runner, you can't deny it. Actually, started a conversation about the credits of a show when there wasn't one before. I love the engagement this show has caused. You know, it has definitely caused an engagement. It has caused sometimes when you have a controversial show that gets people talking, it gets us kind of reinforcing some of our points and getting deeper into Star Wars lore. Like, could that really happen, or should have that happened, or I understand it a lot more now because of these things. That's the engagement I like. I that's the stuff I like. Like, look, Chris and I can disagree on something, but we can have a certain perspective on how a Virgins works on his mind, how a Virgins work. But that's Star Wars, that we're talking about a Star Wars thing. What I don't like to do is defend like bad writing or this, or like what, or they're just ruining on Star Wars on purpose. Like I never can see that. They might just be naive and might write something that we're accepting, but I don't think it's on purpose. Like I'm deliberately trying to tank Star Wars so I can live my life really peaceful. Like that's going to work out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the choice of adding a pop song into a Star Wars credit scene, that goes a little bit too far to our core as Star Wars characters. Again, if you like, you thought it fit, that's cool. But Firefly isn't Star Wars, Rick Jones.
Man. Firefly is actually the distant future of Earth. So
just like Star Trek, they can have Beastie Boys in Star Trek. It's
Star
totally
Trek
cool.
work because it's earthbound. But again, that's I'm not gonna burn down the house over it. I'm not going to outcast anybody who likes it. I'm not going to do that.
Never do.
And I will
either way with the show either. It's people
and Hal Runner. I will defend you for liking it. I will.
Yep.
That's just my take. That's
your
take. It's cool, man. This is a place that you can do it. So
the problem I'm having is people that are just going at it angrily. It's like, why are you pissed off at somebody else for liking something? Calm down.
It's because the people that really like it are so overly like it. We keep saying the people that keep saying we're bitching about the people that don't like it. The people that do are just as annoying.
Yeah.
It's either A+ or F. Those two people are
so
annoying as shit.
Everybody needs to just take a goddamn pill, chill out and either watch it or don't watch it. You know, we keep giving, we're watching it week by week and giving our personal grade on it, but none of us want to give it a final grade until we watch the final episode.
That's what it is, and we've said that since day one. Yeah,
and then let me tell you, if next week sucks, just look out. All hell will break loose. It's no problem. Bad Batch did the same thing.
When Bad Batch did the same. The Rise of Skywalker did the same thing. We were in it, man. We were like, okay, they can land this plane and make it all make sense. Yeah, and when they didn't. Yeah. We let them know.
Mando, this is true. And again, it's also the question of just because they should, or just because they can doesn't mean they should. That's a major question in our minds, because sometimes less is more. But Mando, Mike, because I don't think they're intentionally ruining Star Wars. I think they're just clueless on what they create. I mean, that's an opinion on a perspective. No one watches RD. This is the first Disney Star Wars installment that I have wanted to engage in and think the story to the Acolyte is great, but it just isn't delivered well.
Right? It's a little bit of episode 2. It's a little bit of Attack of the Clones going on. It's like it's a cool story. A lot of really cool shit going on. Probably more cool shit than we've seen in live action. Period. Really. Talk about the Virgins, these witches, a lot of fighting, dude. The Chimera, the strangers.
Chimera. Chimera's speeches last week were incredible.
Oh yeah,
they were great. All dark side. The seduction of the dark side was incredible.
And when you go back and watch him again, every word he's ever said since the beginning of Chimera is awesome. Yeah. And that's he's stolen this entire season. You wonder who, that's what I'm saying. The Acolyte, there's 2 other girls over there. He might be the Acolyte. Like that's what I'm saying. You know, it's
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is true or not, but like you said, Distant Land's also saying but this show and a few others are causing the brand to receive apathy for the brand. How is that a good thing?
I don't know. It's the responses to the show and the knee-jerk reactions to the show.
Yeah,
fighting in the infighting on the show.
Yeah, because
everybody's apathetic because nobody wants to hear it.
Yeah, but I also think what the show is creating us to kind of explore Star Wars and EU stuff. It's using a lot of EU stuff. It's causing us to question a question in kind of a good way of like, this is okay. You know, putting it in its place, and as far as not just going like, oh yeah, that was cool, let's move on. Okay, that was cool, let's move on, because I don't think that's what we want in a Star Wars series either. We don't want just to be like, that was an awesome explosion, great saber fight, everybody's safe. It's a safe thing from it. Nothing changed from beginning to end. I don't think we want that either. I think we do want some heavy-handed storytelling when it comes to this has potential of changing the way we think, but in a good way, right? Not changing in a good way, not destroying. And again, destroying is a certain point of view also, because people could take it and go, oh, that ruined everything. How? Well, and they
think it ruins it because now the Jedi aren't perfect. The Jedi aren't these people above everyone else. They're actually a little bit flawed, which makes sense because we've seen Dooku, we've seen Qui-Gon, we've seen Obi-Wan at times, we've seen Anakin, we've seen nothing but flawed Jedi. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So why not see them together in a group like this? Just a little bit worse because those other people had a little bit of different growing up or experience or whatever. Right.
You're also talking. Yeah. You're talking about Jedi who have lived in ultimately peaceful times. They don't know how to deal with certain issues. They don't know how to relax.
Yeah.
He's basically Torben's basically on a planet just doing menial shit, not having to worry about anything. He's still getting paid, whatever. But he
wants to get home anyway. Play his games.
He wants to get home anyway. Yeah. He wants to break out his Xbox. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, hey, in a perfect world, I would love for all of us to be fist pumping Rogue One style Vader hallway scene. That's what, and it makes us proud to walk out the door and be like, Star Wars, right? Like that's the greatest thing in the world.
It's happened so few times since 1999.
Yeah.
It's Rogue One, yes. The Force Awakens to some extent, yes, but everything else has been divisive as hell.
Yeah.
Since 1999.
Yeah. Again, well, we'll wind down here and we'll reconvene next week because again, it's gonna get us talking next week no matter what. Okay?
I think we all love Revenge. Didn't we all love Revenge of the Sith right off the bat?
Revenge of Revenge of the Sith, yes. Not
Clone Wars, kind of divisive. I'm just trying to go through it real fast. Rebels, if they watch it, shouldn't be divisive because it's fucking cool. Rogue One's not divisive. Andor isn't really just me. I'm the standout there. I don't love Andor. But then everything else, dude, it's like split in half. Yeah. Like it's ugly.
Kenobi was definitely split in half. I mean, there was
that was an execution issue too, dude. Because the story, I love the story of him and Leia. I love the story of him and Anakin and Vader. I love all that stuff. I like the ISB stuff going on.
I'm with you, Hal Runner. I said I'm with Hal Runner there. Revenge of the Sith was okay. Yeah. The prequels for me, they were okay.
Hal Runner thought the song was good a minute ago. I got nothing.
That's true. Never mind. You're out, Hal Runner.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's hard to attack or defend because this is not a finished product. And anybody who's been following the Starlight Digest for a long time knows that what we'll do is we did it with the sequels, man. We really cheerleaded for that to be a grand finale. When it wasn't in our, see, here's the thing. When it wasn't in our point of view or our perspective, we did put it out there. So what else? Again, everybody in the pit, thank you so much for joining us. There's a lot of people I did not get to. So before I hand it over to Ernie, I will take a special moment to shout out Alexander Storm, Chet, and Rad, who Scott and I just got off the Shadow Nose Network show right before this one. We talked all toys and everything. So the link is in the description below to go check that channel out also to support. And of course, Wednesdays are chock full. I know Ernie's starts at 6, go into Shadow Nose, goes right into Starlight Digest. Your Wednesdays are full of content. So with everybody, again, I didn't get the chance to shout out everybody in the pit, but thank you so much. Your opinions are here. We're here to talk about it all. Good, bad, whatever it is. But continue with this because we're not all doom and gloom over here, but we're also not all shills over here either. We're not yes men either. We are not.
The fight was awesome. The writing sucks. Kamir is awesome. Vanestra is the worst actress on the planet.
Yeah. I mean,
that's pretty much how it works.
And I'm hoping that and I'm hoping that episode 8, which we don't have a title for it, but it was dark and whatever. I hope it really kind of like puts things in perspective, going like, all right, look, execution, if people don't like it, but again, maybe the story does something cool.
Hey, we all know that Book of Boba Fett was all killer, no filler.
Yeah.
So
see,
far be it from
Boba Fett is the best thing on Disney Plus.
There's another case
these
of a director and showrunner talking too damn much.
Yep.
You guys just don't understand.
Oh, I understand, dude. I watched that enough. I get it.
Mando Mike. That fight should have been longer.
Dude. He's made no sense all night. You're going to listen to him now?
No, we never listen to Mando Mike.
And right there is completely.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, again, thank you very much. Ernie, take us out of here.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us tonight, especially if you are brand new in the chat. Hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button on your way out so you don't miss when we're on. Hit the bell for notifications because we're on Monday nights with 2 different shows. Either it's going to be the Sarlacc toy chest, or we have did you guys do one yet?
What's that? Toy chest? We did one Monday.
No, the Beyond the Pit?
No, not yet.
We're done it Beyond the Pit in a while. We're
okay. So it usually fluctuates back and forth, but if there's nothing, then it's your chance to catch up on all our old shows, which we have a ton of content on. We will definitely see you back here next week, Wednesday at 8. And then I'm sure probably the week after that as well, too, to let that all settle and marinate, and then probably come to our final decision like in 2 weeks. So I'm sure that's exactly what's going to have to happen.
Sorry to interrupt. We get a rare opportunity here with Distant Land, Raider the Bandit saying, hey, I wasn't trolling, just giving an honest opinion. That's totally cool. Do that all the time. Come in, give your opinion. We don't think you're trolling. We'll call out a troll if you're trolling. I didn't want to interrupt you, Ernie. I'm so sorry.
You're right.
I wanted to catch that while we had a chance.
Thank you for that, because I wouldn't put up comments if I thought it was trolls. I really would.
Right, for sure. Yeah. You're allowed to not like it. You're allowed to love it. It don't matter. We're just bashing
Yeah. That's what makes it diverse over here. You can have your own opinion, not like it. Look at we've never kicked out Mando Mike as much as we want to, but he's still here.
He loves the attention.
You know,
where I live. I can't. He'll just show
Well, no, we love everybody in the pit, and that's your opinion. Hey, we all don't like Resistance. Like, that's okay.
No,
it's there at Star Wars.
Hell Runner, you better not like Resistance.
That's like my main point to say to everybody all the time.
If Distant Land Raider the Bandit Invader here, if he likes Resistance, he's a troll.
Nobody likes Resistance.
So we got it. We got to let it play out. We put it in there.
Yeah.
It's our passion. It's our love. And then we see what happens. And we know it's your guys's too. We're never being the same disrespectful on the end either. These are our opinions. That's your opinion. So, there we go.
However, we love you.
That's the best way to do it. So we'll see you guys here next week for your opinion. Bring a friend as well. And then after we talk about it, like I said, the next week after, we'll definitely put it in its place and see what's going on. But until then, you can catch up with all our old content. You can stay connected with us on all social media. How Runner and Distant Land is, we got a Facebook Star Wars Central where it's 24/7 Star Wars talk as well over there. We're on Twitter. Check out TikTok. Scott has a bunch of toy reviews on there because we're also collectors and love the fandom as well. And if you are a collector yourself, this show's sponsored by Tashi Station Emporium every week. They are our biggest supporter. They definitely got you covered on all your figure stand needs to add to your DTOFs, to your toy photography, whatever it may be. I mean, we got space walls and much more coming. Yeah, look at that. Perfect. Got you covered. Tashi Station Emporium.
And go subscribe to their channel. They need subscribers on the
The dude's pretty lonely and sad, so just go do it for him. Yeah, he really needs all the help he can get over there. He's my dad.
Yeah,
his mother half. No, for real. We love everything that Moocher's doing over there, and if you're into the 3D printing thing, it's definitely something you got to check out, or just you got to share the love and support and go over there, hit the subscribe button, and then check it out.
It's fun. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
Don't collect or not into 3D. It's just a fun.
Go check it out. The links are all below, and we will see you next week.
Yes, sir. Is Runner fucking with me?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know.
Kaz is so fun.
I don't know.
I love the tie-ins and sequel timeline.
What the hell's happening right now? Never in my days. What is going on?
Well, yeah. You know what? We'll give you that shot too. No one watches Artie. Hey, Artie, we watch Artie. You have to change your name to you're gonna have to change your name to some people watch Artie. He is sad and low. They have a channel and no one watches. If you want to sub, please do what you have to do to watch. No one does. This is the place
right now.
This is all a big community, and we will definitely
go.
I might already be subbed after the first time.
Yeah, I think so.
I did.
We all, like Moocher was saying, we all visit other shows. We all guest spot on everything.
Yeah.
My show's still running right now. I got to go. So we're good to go.
Yeah. You just hopped over here. You're going to go back over.
Yeah, I got to go back right now. Yeah.
He's got everybody on pause.
You know what? That would be awesome, actually, Ernie, if he actually was true. But
I'm going back right now.
I'm number 599. I wish I would have been number 600 there. No one watches RD. Damn.
You can run two different at the same time. You can carry on two different conversations and really fuck with people.
Oh my goodness.
On StreamYard. Yeah.
That is the hardest thing ever. Yeah.
All right, guys. All right, for real this time. We'll see you next week. We'll continue the conversation with that, Scott.
Keep it nerdy, everybody. That's what she said.
If you want to.
If you want to keep it nerdy. That's cool.
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.